kindness.
Do you want these left switched on? Or
Yes, please. Yeah, leave them switched on, just in case I fail, my batteries fail. Is yours turned on? Yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Buckland Brewer Parish Council meeting. It's the 11th of September 2024. Can we have apologies for absence?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Is everybody agreed that that's okay? Can we have a show of hands, please? Hey? Well, it would do, yeah. Declarations of interest.
Yes.
I don't know why I looked over at you, but I did.
Planning 308C.
George, microphone.
Planning 308C. They border my field and they want to dig up my field for a drain or something. So, declaration of interest.
Yeah. Sal?
Whether I should or not, declaration of interest, Thornhill Headmore, father-in-law's of grazier's rights.
And me as well, as we're talking, it's my dad's as grazier rights of Thornhill Headmore also.
Joe, I can't see you. I can't see you behind the monitor. He'll put it on the floor. Minutes of the meeting of the Parish Council held on the 14th and 22nd of August 2024. Has everybody read them? Are they happy with them? There was a variation done on for you,
Yeah,
George.
on the minutes, yes. You mentioned that you were going to put on, and I couldn't find them, Chair, the minutes of where I said what Richard Hooper had done as chair and whatever, and I wanted to expand on that. You told me that you were going to do it verbatim, but I couldn't find it on the minutes that you said you were going to alter. I don't quite follow whatever. But
George, I sent them through to you. It was July's minutes, and they were changed, and I sent them to you on a JPEG.
What's a JPEG? I screenshot it for you and sent it to you, and it is clearly there on the July minutes. It is on the July minutes.
It's
if you
clearly
say it is,
on
I
the...
accept it.
I will show you on a photograph, but it's there, I can promise you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it, yes.
Thank you. Is everybody else happy with them? Both of them?
Sorry, when you say both of them, you mean...
yeah, one for the 14th and one for the 22nd, George.
And what about part two on one you got on...
Yeah, one for the 14th and one for the 22nd.
We're signing off
all
that
of them
as well.
Yeah. I will show you the one for July and after the meeting. Public participation. Mr. Hewitt.
Microphone.
Can we have a microphone to Mr. Hewitt?
I wish that I got a big mouth. It really didn't really matter. Oh, I can't put this bloody thing on. Sorry, I can't put this down now. This is more trouble than it's worth.
You are turned on. Your lights are on. I think you're turning yourself off now.
That's on.
Now you're on.
Your 303, Thornhill Head and trail hunting. In all the years I've lived here, this is the fourth time, I think, that this has come up at Parish Council. They don't actually do any hunting on the moor. All they do is meet at the moor.
I take it you're referring to trail hunting, not hunting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You couldn't hunt over the moor if you tried on the parts of it are so wet you'd break the legs of the horses. So they only meet. That's all they've ever done up there. And I just point that out to yourselves, that that's all it is. Just clarify it. I was going to mention the bit down Gorwood Road, but I'm not happy with the interpretation of that amendment they're looking for. Even though I've dragged out the planning permission, I can't really interpret what they want, which needs a little bit looking at. Oh, sorry, the other bit on Thorn and Lead, it's common land, and there have been legal cases where horses are allowed on common land, providing you're not setting up a stable or training horses on common land. You can ride wherever you want on it. So I just bring that to your attention.
Thank you very much.
The other bit is, you're talking about the mast. What some of you may not be aware of, I don't know who takes a journal. Anybody take a journal? Did you see the bit about from BT?
Yeah, I vaguely have, yes, yeah.
3 is about to be done away with, and there will only be 4 and 5G. But also, they are intending to do away with their analogue phone lines. We will all be over the internet by 2027.
That's right.
And the point I'm trying to make is there is something going on with technology that could well be worth more than whatever they're offering at the moment for that mast. Plus the fact it's on common land. And I'm not certain whether you are allowed to sell it. There'll be lots of complications. At the moment, it's done through an old lease that was done originally for the electricity board and has been sold on and sold on and sold on. But as far as I know, the parish council still own the land. So I think that's right, George, isn't it? Yeah. So just be aware that there's something else technology-wise going on that could be worth a lot more money than they're offering the parish council. Just draw your attention to that.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Yep. Okay. Jim, here if you
You're
come.
quite welcome to it, yeah. If I can find it. Oh.
Thanks. I just wanted to, well, first let me introduce myself because I don't know that I know everybody. I'm Jim Donegan, and my wife Sue and I live just down the road in Change in Time. And you may also have seen I've put my name forward for the council election on October 3rd. But thank you for the floor now, and I wanted to see if there was any clarification, or maybe there will be later on item 304 on washing the road signs. And we were just talking about that really is a good initiative and the need for it. And we were specifically talking the one at the top of Barton Road, for instance. There's a no trucks sign there, and you can hardly see it because you know it's dirty and it's rarely the truck drivers can see it, I think, because, you know, as they're coming around that bend, it's so light that by the time they see it, I think they're into the road. And that's just one example. I'm sure there are others. So I was just wondering for 304 if there was any thought about what the specifics would be and you know, how it would work and how much of the signs in the village might be looked at for that.
Yeah, it's a good question, and yeah, you're right, it does come up in 304, something I will discuss. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Thank you. Clive.
Good evening. Now we know there's going to be an election. The one drawback to this is it's going to cost quite a bit of money, and it's going to make a dent in the stretched finances of the parish. I don't know why people are so keen to call an election, but if the people who did had to pay for it, maybe they wouldn't be quite so keen when there's a no-cost alternative. I came onto a parish council through co-option. It's a no-cost option, and I don't I hope we don't get another resignation, but if we do, could we please generally have co-option and people not ask for an election, because it costs money unnecessarily. Thank you.
Trouble is, Clive, it's a democracy, and if over 10 parishioners sign it, then I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, it's a lot of money to come out of the precept.
It is, Chair, it is called democracy.
I've just said that. I did.
I agree, but there is an alternative.
Does anybody else have any questions? At the back? Sorry, did you have... Sorry, did the lady have a question? No. Okay, thank you very much. Clerk's report.
Okay, there's a couple of things. One thing that has come in since I sent the correspondence list out, so I'll mention that first before I forget it. It's a grant request for, it's come in from Life Education Wessex and Thames Valley. This is a company that goes around to schools nationwide. So the council has supported it in the past. It has submitted a request for £145, or as much as the council is prepared to offer, to cover a shortfall in finances for carrying out workshops in Buckland Brewer School. So I will just mention that now. If you want me to add that to the next agenda, then obviously I will, just let me know. But that has just arrived. The other thing that is new is the War Memorials Commission. I did submit a grant request to clean up the memorial and improve the lettering, so have that repainted. But they've come back rejecting the grant, one of the reasons being that they don't believe it should be cleaned at the moment. So what they've actually said is that you should not clean very often, and that it's accepted that war memorials will look dirty, and that it's only short term. If you do clean them, it doesn't last very long, and you obviously can't use anything abrasive anyway, because you can only do it very gently with water and a soft bristle brush. So that is what has come back. So if there are any repairs or anything to be done to the war memorial, it will be at the council's cost. So again, if there's something that you want me to put on the agenda next month, I will do. We can have the lettering done, but only the lettering. There's an outstanding query with our water company. This relates to the allotment water. Now, we've got a discrepancy with the latest bill. We've suddenly been presented with a bill for £749.89 because the company believes the council has used 333 cubic metres of water in a 2-month period.
Can we just explain for people who don't know, there's one tap there.
There's one tap. It's one tap. It's used by allotment holders. Basically, when it's hot and no other times, everybody collects water in water butts as well. So it's minimal use. We certainly haven't built a swimming pool. So it's been escalated at the moment. The water company is saying it is due. So I'll let you know how that goes. And everything else, I think, is on the agenda. So, yeah, leave it there.
Can I just confirm that that's not on a meter, is it? As in a meter?
It is a meter.
Oh, it is metered.
It is a meter.
Right.
Yeah.
Chair?
Yeah.
The water trough's not leaking, is it?
My allotment's right next to, and I think if there'd been a leak, I would have noticed it coming up the middle. To be fair, nobody has used the tap this year because it's
I
been
mean
so
the
wet.
water trough in the field.
Well, I would imagine that the tenant would have possibly have said something, but it's something... Will you look into that?
It hasn't. The meter hasn't moved in the weeks since the reading has been taken, so there's no leak. It's not moving.
Oh,
it's
so
not moved
the
at
meter
all.
could be wrong.
I think what has happened is that either the wrong reading has been saved from years ago, or it's been misread this time because the digits aren't very clear on it. So one of the things I need to do is clean the face of that water meter and see if it looks any clearer.
Just a question, do we know when the last meter reading was taken? Because we've had that leak, didn't we? So is that including that leak?
I don't think it was ever taken. That's one of the problems. We do need to implement that. Any time that water is switched on or switched off, we need to do a reading and take a picture.
It was reported though, wasn't it, when we had that leak? It wasn't.
It hasn't moved. Hey ho. Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Sorry, will it be last year in the winter?
It
I think we
was turned off.
switched it off.
It was turned off until April.
Yeah, when was it turned off?
It
December?
was October.
October.
So
And was
from
that
what-
okay? Was that okay with the allotment holders?
Well, we don't have to water in the winter,
Fine.
and
Holders are happy with it, which again, but we have to raise it.
no,
all
I
with
can't see there's a problem with
Yeah.
turning off the water in the winter for sure. Well, we haven't had to water this year. Thanks, Joe. Right, decision whether to purchase signage. Sorry, this is 3001. Signage re vehicle restrictions for the footpath and Thornhill Headmore. Over to you.
So this isn't a footpath, actually. That's some mistakes. It's actually just Thornhill Head. We're talking about the foot. I don't know where the footpath comes from, but it's just Thornhill Head. So a few weeks ago, a parishioner contacted me. It says motorbikes. Sorry, Joe, is that about the footpath? Back lane, there you go.
Oh, that's you.
That's different. Yeah,
Oh.
that's different to me, though, isn't it? Back lane's the one about the vehicle, wasn't it?
Okay,
Peculiar.
sorry, got you.
Shall I do my bit first then?
Yeah.
It's been motorbikes scrambling across Thornhill Headmore on a track 3 days. Well, in 4 days, they were there 3 times, churning it up. And obviously, vehicles aren't allowed on Thornhill Head, but there's no signage. The police were involved with this as well. There's no signage on Thornhill Head at all to say there's no vehicle. So they were saying, well, it's common land, we're allowed on it. And we need to get some signage up there because it's protected land as well. And we can't have people scrambling across Thornhill Head on motorbikes. So really the request is that we need to sort out some sort of signage as well as vehicles as well. And I did also spoke to the main grazier as well, who said they've had enough of people driving literally across the moor. Like the guys with the scrambling bikes, they drove from the top end of the moor, right across the moor and out the bottom, going across the land, and it's just not acceptable, really. So the police suggested we need to get some signage up to say no vehicles really on the moor, because it is doing damage, and it's not a racetrack for motorbikes. And there is stock on there as well. There isn't at the moment. They've taken the stock off because of the rag work. So that's really, we just need some signage up. I think Lynn might want to say something. Yeah, so I spoke to Coles as well, and they were going to chase Andrew Hayward at Bob Hicks's about the ragwork being sorted, because that hasn't been done yet. Yeah.
I think it's on this to do.
Yeah.
Or you have done that.
So they were going to ring.
So are you saying that if they put a sign up, does that mean that the police can? I think it's on. Yeah. If there's a sign up, can the police, do something if there's a sign there? What does it mean just by putting a sign up?
Well, their argument was there was nothing to say they're not allowed on there.
Right.
So I take it, but the police said that they couldn't. It's private property.
Yeah.
They can't enforce it, but you wouldn't have somebody coming and riding on your land. It is private.
I
Yeah.
haven't got signs anywhere, but
No.
I'm just saying, I go to lots of moors and they haven't got signs anywhere. But I guess it's like, say, it's common sense, but like they're obviously taking advantage, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Andrew wants to.
Hang on, no, Trevor wants to
Trevor.
Yeah, I thought there's a law that you can't drive more than 10 metres.
15.
Right, thank you. More than 15 metres onto the moor.
Oh, that's useful then, isn't it?
That's under the Commons Act.
That's
Brilliant.
The Commons Act.
Very good.
So, yeah.
Well, they were more, they were
They
driving
can't,
all over
like you
it.
say, they aren't technically allowed to go more than 15 metres then.
They were
Still not a
further
lot
in
though,
than
is
that. They were a long way in. They were across the middle where the gauze part was.
You recorded them.
Yeah.
But that's on common land. If it's private, which it is, Buckland parish land, then you're not allowed it on the land at all. It's called a common, but it is private. Buckland Brewer Parish Council own it, so it is a private land for Buckland Brewer Parish Council, and they are the landowner, so they can stipulate what can and can't be done.
Okay. I mean, is there an enforcement? I mean, is other, you know, again, how would we enforce it if people were on it?
You
That would
wouldn't,
be...
it'd be trespass. It's
Right.
nothing, because
Okay,
the
yeah.
police can't do anything criminally.
We can put one sign up, I would think.
I think we need to have signs,
One-
one each end of
well-
the cattle grid, maybe.
Yeah, well, we can put one
Guys,
year
at
and
the
one
back-
another year.
Sorry, 1 second. Guys, Mr. Hewitt, all I can hear is you talking, and people are trying to talk up here, and I can see people here. I don't care. If you're talking about the same subject, people are trying to talk here. I can hear you. I can hear you.
George,
Thank
do
you.
you have anything else to say?
No, they just, I would do one sign a year. I mean,
Yeah, it was...
we're stretch for cash, so do one sign a year and whatever. Once one sign is up, is an irrelevance where it is, then the police, if the police are allowed to, I don't know, there is a sign, no vehicles on the moor whatsoever.
Yeah, and that was what they recommend. The police recommended to us that, you know, we need to have signs up to say people are not allowed to drive on the moor.
It's hard to enforce. Obviously, for the police side of thing, it would come under civil law. It would be trespass. Joe, how much did you say that the signs were?
The signs are not expensive at all. We can have bespoke signs made quite reasonably, you know, depending on the size and the materials, but an aluminium sign of about 40 centimetres by 60 centimetres, you can get those done for about £35. So they're not very expensive. One thing I was waiting for is I've referred to Hicks because Hicks and Co have said that we should get permission from Natural England to put any signage on the moor. So I'm waiting for an update from them.
What, even on the or even on the fencing at the very end, either end? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because there is also some people keep driving as you go across Thornhill Head on the left. 4x4s are going in there and driving and parking in there and letting their dogs out as well, and it's causing damage, especially
Yeah,
now with the winter coming up again.
That's what I
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it just needs to be a blanket. And I know we discussed this before, didn't we? And how we were going to stop people driving across it. And I still think that needs to be looked at.
Sorry, on that subject, the other thing I did ask for is to speak to Natural England about having boulders or something like that to stop people driving not, you know, very far off the road. So that's part of the query.
Do you want to defer this until we have Natural England's response on this for the moment, and then
For the
bring it
signs.
back?
Well,
Yes, Trevor.
I was going to mention that we should contact our agent. I mean, that's what he's in charge of the moor because he does all the RPA stuff and seek his advice.
and the money could come out of Thornhill Head money, couldn't it?
You
Yeah.
would, but
That's what I've just said.
that's what Joe's just
That's,
said.
that's what I've just said.
Just done it as well.
It's with Hicks and Co at the moment to
Contact
get
Natural
yeah
England.
to get permission.
And the other thing, while we're on the moor and the signs then, I think it was, whoever put the sign up for Natural England for us should pay a visit and see what's happened to it.
Which has been done, isn't it?
No, we know where that is. Joe knows where that is.
I didn't say that. I said put it right or repair it. I mean, if he, I don't want to say his name, but you have the details there of this company that put the sign up for us. We employed this man to put the sign up. Now it's been vandalised. And I think he should check it for us as well.
But I'm just wondering whether we should vote to buy the sign, so as soon as Joe gets the go-ahead, it hasn't got to come back again. I wondered if we could just vote, because yeah.
Well, yeah, it's fine. Do you want to propose?
So I propose that we vote to buy signs for either end of the cattle grid on the moors to say no vehicle access.
And for Thornley Moor to pay for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So we can have half a dozen signs up.
We could have a whole more of signs if you want, George. I'll second that. And can we have a show of hands for everybody who's happy with that? That's unanimous. I thought you might leave the next one to me. No, I'll do it. But it's no one's fun. I'll start it. So, am I right in thinking that the next one's Back Lane that you've said about there, Joe, isn't it? On 301?
Well, this was raised by a parishioner about having a vehicle restriction sign there. So if you want to order signs, you may as well order one for that
so
if you want
it's
it
not
as
for
well.
vehicle restriction signs, it's to say there's vehicle access in Back Lane.
Right, okay. Okay.
You can't do that. It's not a footpath. It's a private one with access to the
Well,
property.
can 1 second.
Property halfway down.
Right. Mrs. Mills claimed that it was, yes, it was you brought this up in the last meeting, that it was vehicle access for that, for Back Lane, is that right?
It's a registered right of way.
So what does that?
Well, okay.
We can't block the entrance.
No, I know.
No, I realise that. So, just so that I know, because I mean, I wouldn't drive a car down there personally.
I drive my Gator down there.
Your what?
I drive my Gator down through there.
I'm quite jealous of that. So, are we saying it's got? Is it an adopted road?
No.
Right. So why are we saying it's for vehicle access then?
Because they get blocked both ends.
Right.
There is property
Yes, I know.
that
Mm.
has a right to use,
Mm.
and it is a registered right of way, not a footpath.
Right. Okay.
So that means we can. Sorry,
No, carry on, George.
Yes, and we have been using that off and on for ever since it's been here in Buckland Brewer with vehicles.
Right. So what we're saying is, Mrs. Mills brought this up at the last meeting. Are we saying that we're having signs that says vehicle access?
Yes, if you're all in favour, or do not block the path. I mean, I don't
Right.
mind.
Or do we have a do not obstruct sign instead of a vehicle access sign?
That sounds better to me.
I just think a do not obstruct sign says more than this has got vehicle access, because anyone can ignore that.
Trouble is then we've got to have one each end. We've got to pay for two.
Well, that's £70. That can't come out of Thornhill Head more.
You might get an offer, you never know.
Do you want to say something? No, there isn't. No, it's not now. No. No, there isn't. I went out there and had a look. Yeah.
I think you're right.
It's probably in some student's bedroom. Okay, so are you happy with the do not obstruct signs?
Yep.
Trevor? Yeah. Okay, do you want to propose it, or as it was somebody else's idea?
propose that we put a do not obstruct sign both ends
Right.
of Back Lane.
Do you want to second that then, Trevor?
I'll second that.
Okay, just raise of hands for that. Unanimous. Both ends, please. Okay, 302. This is for you, Trevor. Decision regarding the reinstatement of Thornhill Head Moor information sign.
Well, that was what I was.
Oh, that's what you're on
just
about.
now.
Okay, so we've covered that one really, haven't we?
We have no.
Happy with that? Good.
Sorry, what action are you proposing?
We didn't say that, did
Oh, did we not say?
No.
Is somebody's got hold of it, haven't
Mark.
they? Somebody's got it.
Mark, didn't you say
Who's
Mark?
looking
Yeah,
after
someone's
it?
looking after it.
Being put somewhere safely. I just want to clarify, we are talking about the information sign, aren't we, in the lay-by, and not the notice board?
The
Yeah.
big notice board, no.
This is the one on the moor, right?
Yeah.
This is one
On the moor,
on the top.
on the top.
Because
It does.
what he said is that there's a problem with the wood. It looks like the wood needs some attention. So I don't know why it's fallen over, whether it's because the wood is rotten or what's happened. But
If that's the case, I would suggest we definitely contact the man who put the posts in for us. Because, like I say, Natural England supplied the actual sign, I believe, and we had, didn't we?
the council purchased it from an external company.
Right,
And
right.
The posts were an integral part of the sign.
The posts come with it?
It was all attached. It was one solid piece.
But we still need to replace them, really.
For it to be repaired? Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Anyone seconding it?
Yeah,
Oh, 2 seconders. Okay. Show of hands for that. Yep.
Come off
Kath?
Yeah, I did.
To come off Thornhill Head money.
Yes, Thornhill Head.
Keep saying it, people. Keep saying it. Okay, brilliant. Okay. 304, where am I? 303. Decision whether to permit trail hunting on Thornhill Head Moor and the requirements that will need to be adhered to in order to use the parish-owned land. So we have had something back from Hicks saying that it falls back onto the parish council to make that decision. So after all that waiting, it's come back at us. One question I have got personally is obviously we do have some farmers here. How much notice do you ask for the hunt to come onto your land?
They usually tell us a few days in front, ask if it's okay.
Right.
But there.
Yeah. So, so you normally ask for a day before?
They come to us, and
Yeah.
I don't approve it because I had hounds come through my fields
Right.
and chasing my sheep and my horses, and they've got no control over them whatsoever. It's too small. That area is too small. I used to hunt, and it's too small. I don't like hunting.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt you. Could you give this lady a microphone, because I'm sure everyone would like to hear what she has to say.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I live on Natty Moor, which is right next door to the moors. We've had hunting on there before. I've had them come through my gates, through my fields, chasing my sheep, chasing my horses, upsetting my dogs. I'm not approving of hunting, whether it's here or there. My chickens are out all day. I don't get bothered with them, but I keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
But that area is too small. It's not trail hunting. It's all a big fog. They're foxing. They're hunting after foxes. I'm sorry, we've had foxes come onto our land to shelter, and they've come right up to the door. So, and it upsets me. I'm getting upset now.
I can see that.
I've seen them ripped apart, and it's not fun. If you want to see a dog or your cat ripped apart, that's your, theory. I mean, I was talking to my husband before I came out tonight. He used to repair cartridge machines and service them. And in London, where they slaughtered the cattle, they had people that used to go and literally watch them being slaughtered, not because they were there for business. If that's their kind of kick, that's fine. But, I don't approve it at all. I'm sorry. It's out of date. I know it's a tradition. But if you've got a gun and you can shoot the foxes if they're bothering you. Shoot a deer if you want to cull it because you want to get out. You don't go around chasing around Exmoor with God knows how many dogs and horses. You've got people that shoot guns these days. Go and stalk them, shoot them. I don't disapprove of that, but I do disapprove of you chasing around with horses and dogs. I've got a sheepdog. She goes out, she fetches all my sheep in. I don't need 1 million dogs to go out and horses to go and chase my sheep in. You know that. You're a farmer. So why do you need all those horses over there galloping around chasing things? Sorry, that's it.
Thank you very much. Lynn?
Thank you. Yes,
That's all right.
Lynn.
Thank you. Does anybody like to...
Yes, they're not fox hunting, they're trail hunting. They got a track, and they're set out on a track on the morning, whatever it is, and the hounds follow that track. Fox hunting was banned 5, 8 years ago, whatever it was.
2004.
Thank you. 20 years ago, there you are. So it's a recreation, and if there is an unfortunate incident, then you're quite welcome to report whatever.
I'm going to interrupt you there. It's not an incident. They don't go. I've asked in Blackwood, where are you going? Where do you start? Where do you finish? They can't tell me because they don't go there. They don't lay a trap. It's rubbish.
That's because they're of the south.
No, it's rubbish, George.
No, it's
George,
not.
I'll take
That's
you
what
out
it
one
is.
day. I'll take you out, and I'll take you on a hunt. We'll follow them, and you'll see for yourself.
I've seen for myself, and it's a trail hunt. They've got hunts. They've got hunts. They've got hunts that even all over the country, which are organised, and trail hunting is a recreation for it. Until it's banned, then fair enough.
MOD has now cancelled all their hunting on their land. Windemore Council have banned all their hunting on their land because they found out it's not trail hunting, they're killing foxes. I sent Sally a video earlier on. I couldn't bear to watch it, but any of you could watch it and see for yourself. That was supposed to be a trail hunt.
And where was that to?
Local.
Anybody, if that happens, you're welcome to report it to the authorities and get it arrested and all the rest of it. But on a professional, recreational thing of trail hunting, it is not against the law.
Do you own a gun? Do you own a gun?
Sorry?
Do you own a gun? Are you licensed for a gun? You shouldn't answer that. But you should answer that. You can shoot the fox.
This is quite a controversial subject, we know that, and there are plenty of parish councils that are rescinding on allowing trail hunting on their land, as you know, but I want to make sure that what we're doing is the right decision for... Go on.
So I think if it is voted for, there should be some really strict regulations if we vote for it. It's a trail hunt, so they should be able to specifically tell us where on the moor they are going to be going. So, for instance, from the chapel side across to Nattymore, there's a track, so they could specifically go along that part, but they would need to tell us that. And if they were to go on the rest of the moor, we would need to know exactly the track and the route they're taking because it's a trail, they know exactly where they're going. And I think they have to tell us that prior to doing that if we're going to agree it. The other thing that I think it just needs to be the one side of Thornhead if it is agreed. The other thing is, because we've just had this issue about vehicles again, under no circumstances should they be allowed, I know we're saying about starting the hunt on the moor, they park on the moor, they take their quads across the moor, the motorbikes, etc., and we're saying no vehicles, aren't we, on the moor, and that has to be really, really strict. If it is voted for, there's absolutely no quads, no motorbikes or anything, or no parking on the moor of the hunt if they were to go there. So I'm just putting my bit forward.
How often do they go up on our moor?
Previously, probably twice a year.
Or they cross it sometimes, don't they, I think.
Right.
Well, in the old days when they were fox hunting, whatever, but it's trail hunting. So they'd actually lay the track. So you could put a restriction on so many times a year, whatever happens. But it's I think.
Timeline, I guess.
Yeah, timeline. I mean, we can ask them what it's 2 or 3 times a year. That's what it is.
Dave?
I just want to know, I mean, Andrew said that we've talked about it before, and I think we probably have. why haven't they come to us and said, could we do some trail hunting on the moor? You know, if everybody else is told, why haven't they did it before now?
Well, I think you'll find that we did inform them, no hunting, trail hunting, until we had a parish council, which is last year or the year before when we stopped it. Then, and we stopped them, so they'd not come back to us until we've given.
That's not what you mean. That's not what you mean. Then, is it?
What I'm saying, George, is why this didn't come to be before the parish council until somebody complained about it. So, but they obviously hadn't told us that they were still using it. That's why, you know, that's when if they tell landowners and things like that, that's fine. But why haven't they told us? They used to, David. Yeah, well, they probably did. But why aren't they doing it now?
Different master, and that's all it needs.
So they ought to be doing it now, don't they?
If it's past it to do, they have to do it, full stop, and ask permission.
Has anybody else, Phil?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, does anybody know how they lay the trail?
Sally?
Well, I don't know what they do here, but there's a hunt in Wales and they use runners. But I don't think they use runners at Stephenstone. They actually use runners with something tied on the back and they run. But that's not here.
With a scent in the back, some sort of scent on the back.
I don't know how Stephenstone do it, do you know?
I don't know.
I mean, would it be a quad and then it's across the moor, isn't it? And which we're saying, and we're not going across the moor, yeah?
Well, no, they usually carry it. If no quads, then someone got to carry it across the moor.
Yeah.
And perhaps if they got to carry it across the moor and nobody wants to do all the walking and work, then we won't be seeing the hunt on the moor, a trail hunt on the moor.
Trevor, do you allow it on your land?
Oh yes, they ring me and say, is it okay? And other than I must say we don't allow it all the year, but during the game seasons, say sorry, you can't come, and they obey the rules. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Thanks, George. Thank you. New job.
And lambing time, we don't let them in lambing time. You know, it's when I was running the big shoot, just like Councillor Mills, then we would say you can't do anything in September until February the 1st.
Right.
Being in trouble SI site, I would have to go back through the paperwork to see what was agreed and what regulations are enforced with Natural England.
We've already looked at it.
You have?
Yep. Basically, Natural England have told us it's up to the parish council to make that decision.
Well, as I say, the Commons Act overrides it.
Yeah. I realise this is a very controversial subject. Okay.
Throughout England.
Hey?
Throughout England.
Throughout England. And, you know, I'm looking out at faces in front of me right at this moment, people shaking their heads and everything else. And this is an important decision. Has anyone else got anything to say on it?
No, I'm just wondering whether we shouldn't try and sit down and work out a plan. We're saying that there's no vehicles going to be allowed on the moor. So the hunt, if they want to go that way, are going to have to go through on a set route, which has been
I think that's what Sally.
in a particular
That's what Sally's done.
and that's the rules and regulations they've got to stick by. If they're happy to do that, then that's fine. I'm quite happy to go up there on the day and watch.
And is that away from houses, from this lady's house?
Lynn's house is here. But they would only normally cross that bit. It's this part that they come down onto, not so.
But the hounds would be in a line, so they wouldn't, I mean, yes, we can point out the areas they can and can't do, whatever, but they're following the line of a scent.
What I'm proposing is the fact that, Sally, you've come up with this map, but if there is any trouble up on that moor, I'm looking at this lady here, I would like you to report that to us, because we can't have parishioners, and you're obviously quite passionate about this, we can't have parishioners feeling that they are speechless over this and the fact that we're making a decision here, but it's affecting your life.
We've got so much wildlife come back on that moors since I've been there in 30 years. I know you've been there longer, but in 30 years, since they've not been coming on board, we had so much wildlife come back. I've got my third year of barn owls come back, which I didn't have before, and we've had fallow deer, red deer, we've had all sorts, apart from badgers, but you know, it's been lovely, it's been wonderful. So, you know, once the hunt starts again, everything disappears.
I understand.
Have they just started again? Have they just, I mean, have they been doing this, have they been trail hunting on Thornhead Moor ever since it was, fox hunting was banned?
Yes, until we said
Yeah.
2 years ago,
I
whatever.
know
Yes,
that.
yeah, a year ago, whatever it was. Yes, as far as I know,
Okay.
it's not my hobby, it's not my sport, so I don't know. But yes.
So this lady, sorry, Lynn, is it right that they haven't been up there in the last few years, or you're saying they haven't?
I can't bring my vehicles everywhere, they can't go anywhere, so. Sorry, but I have. I've obstructed them because there's no need for it.
Yeah.
No need for it. You know, they're cantering up and down past Coles, and then they go down to Boltworthy, and they're cantering like down towards Dipcross, and then up Putford Road there. Why? That's not where the trail goes. They're supposed to be trail hunting on the moors, not all over the road and stopping traffic. You know?
You got an opinion on this?
If it's trail hunting, it's a set route.
Okay. I think what we need to do is we have a map that's been done by Sally that they would stick to that route.
I haven't seen it.
Yes,
Right.
it's a little bit low. It's not all of it on there. But
The map is not accurate, man,
we
before
need
you
to
start.
decide, yeah, we
Yeah,
need to
it's not
decide.
accurate, that map is not accurate.
Okay. I get you.
And it should, if it's trail, it should be just going across it.
It takes me about 30 minutes.
Say that again, sorry.
I go around the moor, and that's going to take me 30 minutes on horseback. You can't see them being out for 30 minutes. You know, I'm moving their horses, taking them up, going out for 30 minutes. That's what it takes me to go around on the track and the moors on either side.
Right.
Sorry.
Right, so we either we vote on this tonight or we set out a proper map that's given out to them on where they can go,
With the other stipulations.
and with the stipulations of no vehicles and no quad bikes on the moor
And no parking.
and no parking.
I would suggest we set it, so you vote on whether you allow it, first of all, with a set of stipulations, and when we produce the set of stipulations and the map, now whether you want to then go over it on the next parish council meeting and say, this is what we're allowing. We haven't got the correct map now, so that's got to be done, or we allow it subject to they adhering to all those religiously, all those stipulations.
Yeah.
And any divulgence, or whatever the word is, from there, then the permission is withdrawn.
Do we do it for a set period, like
Well,
a
I
trial
was going
period?
to say that I think this needs to be reviewed again.
I would
I do.
review it end of the season in May or whatever it is. Let's see how many, and we can stipulate how many times. Let's go through the season of. I can't see them doing it 3 times anyway. So let's go through the season, hear the results, hear what the parishioners think about it, and take a final decision of whether it's banned or we stop any hunt going on them or not.
I think the hunt needs to give the parish council a week's notice, so that we can, parish council a week's notice, not, I'm not talking about giving the public that notice. Because we've got to do assessment. That's one thing that Jo's got to do. She has got to do an assessment.
Yes, the assessment can be done. But the insurance company have informed us that if there is any notice given and there's violence up there, and
Oh, no,
then
you're not, you're not.
no,
you're-
I'm
no.
sorry. Yeah,
I'm not
even
talking
if you
about
give,
giving-
even if you just give the councillors, and something slips out,
Yeah,
we could be liable.
well, it would be just Joe. Joe
Well,
would be.
I'm still
Well, I
7
don't-
days
I
notice
don't
is not.
I don't think Joe's got a hotline to the saboteurs. Have you, Joe?
Yes, but you're going to be discussing this it's going to be brought up on somehow emailed to
No.
councillors, or are you discussing it with just straight
Okay,
with
so
one
I've spoken
clerk?
to Torridge, right, and to Stacey, and they normally ask for 56 days' notice, which just seems crazy. That's a lot of notice. So 56 days' notice they ask for.
Well, I spoke to Stacey as well, and she said to me that if you give notice and there's damage and there's a violence out there, you're going to be liable.
Oh, this is only for parish though, isn't it? It's not for the public, is it?
Yeah, this is only for the parish, George.
Sorry, yeah. All I'm saying, well, I wouldn't give. Just tell me exactly what you're talking about.
Right. I am saying that the hunt gives the parish clerk a week's notice so that Joe can look at the assessment and check the insurance and everything else, make sure that everything's tickety-boo. We give 1 day's notice to the parish. That's what you said last time, by signage upon the moor.
On the signage, sorry, what signage? Sorry.
You put up a sign upon the moor.
Well, it's got to be done in the morning because it
Yeah.
will
Or on the
make.
morning. On the
Yeah, on the
morning,
morning.
that's
If you put up a sign, it's got to be done on the morning because it will.
That's
The
fine.
insurance company
That's fine.
will nullify it if there's any violence or
George,
anything
that's
done.
fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. So that's what I think going forward it should be, is on the morning of the trail hunt, that it goes up in the morning and that Joe gets written notice a week before.
But we've still got to write out the stipulations,
Yeah,
haven't we?
It's got to be
Before we get
stipulations.
too carried away, can we just sort of formulate a route, go to Stevenson and say, do you agree with that?
Yeah,
If they go, no, we want to do this, that,
no, then
we
it's
go,
a no.
that's the end of it. So before we get too deep into
Yeah.
this, just work out the area that we're going to allow them to go.
I don't think it'll be
And the
as big as that.
stipulation of parking and all the rest of it, and say that is the rules you're going to abide by.
They might not like
Are
the
you
rules and
happy with
decide
it?
that they're not
If
going
they
to come.
say no,
Yeah, that's right.
we're not going to bother, then that's it. That's,
So did we agree on how long the trial period?
One
To the end of
season.
season.
One season. One
Yeah.
season. Whatever. But taking up Councillor Ainsworth's point there, I would suggest we give permission now and say these are the stipulations. Obviously, you've got to have another meeting, another discussion about it all. These are the stipulations that we require. This is the area of
Yep.
whatever. Do you accept it? If you do, that's as the vote has been taken. If it's not, then we withdraw the permission. So we make a decision one way or another tonight with the stipulations then given.
Yep.
You can draw it up. Whether you've got to bring the stipulations to the parish council next meeting, I don't know. I wouldn't suggest you do. Just get
No.
on with it.
So I've let everybody else speak, so carry on, Jim. What would you like to say?
How would the stipulations be monitored? How would you know that all the stipulations are?
Sorry, I'm just going to get a microphone to you,
Oh, sorry.
because that's an important question.
Yeah, I mean, the stipulations sort of make sense to me, and having a specific trail and certain areas, but who's going to say, okay, they're following the stipulations and therefore they can continue?
I think
with
to
the
be
hunt?
honest, we're going to have to rely on the public. The public. And if they do come back with evidence that there hasn't been adhered to, then we will stop.
Yeah,
Stop
I
it
mean,
there
for
and
something
then.
this important, I think it needs to be
Yeah,
a bit more
absolutely.
formal than that, Hen, because, you know, you're talking about a very emotional issue, and if
Yeah.
there's differences in how people are seeing it without some kind of a formal report is tough.
We can't police it unless we all physically go up there
Right.
and know it on the day.
Which is tough.
And it could be a case that maybe a couple of councillors do go up there on the day and make sure that they are adhering to it.
That's-
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
actually another way forward. As long as this lady makes nice cups of tea, I'm quite happy to go and do that. Okay, so let's just get this right in our heads now, okay, where we're going forward with this. George? Right. So, we will vote on this. We will have a caveat that there will be a map that will have the only part of the site that they can go across. There will be a sign placed up there on the morning of the trail hunt, and I keep doing that, don't I? And that the clerk will know 1 week before, so that you can do the assessments, Joe, yeah? And there will be no vehicles on the moor, no parking, and no quad bikes. Have I covered everything?
Trial period is
And the trial period will be 1 season.
When does the season start?
Now.
It starts now.
So the season will start, 1 second. Season will start now, but during that season, if we do know that the trail hunt is going up there, we will have a couple of us that will, as long as it's not raining. Yeah, no, we'll go up there and we will keep an eye on it. But also, members of the public, if they see anything, if they can let us know as well. Yes, George?
When you say assessments, can you tell me what assessments have to be made?
Joe?
We've got to satisfy ourselves that there is insurance in place. This is the hunt's insurance, not ours. And also do a risk assessment for each event.
Well, the hunt insurance can give us no right away if they wanted.
Yeah.
If they haven't got the insurance cover it, there's no go, I would suggest. And, sorry, what did you say the last one was?
Risk assessment. So we do a risk assessment for each event.
Well, that will be done, could be done right at the beginning of the season. When we say yes, the risk assessment can be done. It doesn't have to be done each individual time, does it?
Well, we do review it each time, just in case there are any changes or anything else that we've got to factor in. Because if anything else is happening at the time, we'll need to actually take that into account.
But if they've got to ask us,
Sorry, I just looked over because she's whittling.
if they've got to ask us for each time, which they have to, then we will know whether any other events are going on and say, well, you can't do it then because you've got an event on. What I'm trying to avoid is any risk of violence with any aunties. Like the gentleman said, there's a lot of feeling about all this, and the lady said a lot of feeling one way or another. And the insurance, our insurance has specifically said that if there's any information given before and it can prove that it's come out of us and then it's got hold of it and there's violence or whatever, the insurance company will, if
But
any
George,
damage then will be done or whatever.
It's up to the hunt itself. It's there. If saboteurs, that's not the parish council's problem. The parish council's problem is the land that is being used. That is our problem.
Sorry, we're giving them permission, and I'm just trying to reduce the risk of that. If they create the problem, that's fine. We can prove it. That's fine. We are let off, and that's fine.
Well,
that's up to them.
As it's only coming into the clerk, and we trust the clerk won't be onto the hotline to anywhere that she shouldn't be, then it will only be the clerk that knows.
Fine, but what I'm saying, the assessment can be done right at the start of the season. It doesn't have to be an assessment every week.
Well, can we do an assessment? Well, it
Could it
depends
just be the date changed?
Or the date, yes.
There will be a general one, but you still have to review it because that's what our insurance company.
I don't think that's going to hurt really. I really don't. I don't see what the problem is with that. Right. Okay. Did you want to say something? Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes,
Trevor.
yes, Madam Chairman. I was just...
Chair's fine, Trev, honestly. I'm going to save you some breath there. Chair is fine. But Madam Chairman doesn't even make sense.
I like being polite.
No, it was. You were being very polite, but overly so. I would now buy 2 sexes by that point. Carry on.
Yeah, what I was going to say was it should be no motorised vehicle, because you'll get a trials bike and they say, well, you just said quad bikes.
Yeah.
And,
That's it,
and,
that's it, bikes.
and half of them will ride trials bikes and they'll go just...
Are we talking mechanically propelled vehicles?
Yes.
Let's use that terminology, shall we? There you go. If they'll take their penny farthing over there, then we can't do much about it. But mechanically propelled vehicles, okay, right.
Does that include bicycles?
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't include bicycles. No,
It's an electric one.
electric bikes, vehicles are still mechanically propelled.
Does it include electric bikes? We got to every mechanic.
Mechanically propelled definition. Okay. So does everybody, Joe, have you got all that down, all the things? So we're going to vote on what we've just discussed, all right? Have I got a proposer for that? Yep. David, anyone seconding?
Yes, can you do wording, exact wording, what we are voting on, please?
Okay. You and I are going to have words soon. We are voting on, for this season, and this season alone, is that they are to have trail hunting on a course that is dictated on a map.
Yep.
That it will have no vehicles, no mechanically propelled vehicles were going to be allowed on the moor. There will be a sign put up on the morning of the trail hunt, and I've got to stop doing that. And there will be the clerk will be informed a week before so that assessments can be sorted. This will be reviewed again at the end of season. In the meantime, 2 councillors will go up there when the trail hunt is going on, and to make sure that everything is being done correctly. Also, if members of the public are viewing anything happening, we will want to know also. If they aren't adhering to those regulations, then we will take away their leave of doing that upon them all. Does that sound okay? Yes, David?
We're not stipulating the number of times.
No.
They don't go that much anymore.
Okay, anybody else like to say anything about that? Okay. What?
Nothing, just saying yes.
All right. David, are you proposing this?
I will.
Who would like to second it? Okay, can we have a show of hands to allow the...
In favour?
In favour. Okay, it's unanimous. All right? Yeah. I wish I hadn't looked at you now.
I was in touch with Natalie this afternoon and they said that you need to get their permission, or whether that's right. I spoke to Steph called Gabrielle.
Right. The clerk will be able to answer this for you because we have gone through 6 months of toing and froing. Thanks, Joe.
Natural England won't make a decision. What they have said is we have gone back to our agents to say what level of damage, if any, would be caused by the hunt. And because our agent has said they don't think there's any lasting damage caused, then it's left to the council. But Natural England wouldn't say one way or the other. Yeah, yeah.
Right, okay, brilliant. Decision whether to appoint a company to wash prominent road signage to improve visibility as well as make the parish look far more appealing. Now, I had a phone call from... Did I have a phone call? No, I had a message from a member of the parish. I don't know them. I wouldn't know them if but they contacted me and they said there was a firm she'd seen on Wolseley site called HTC Exterior Cleaning Services, and they'd been around the whole of Walsall and they had cleaned up all their signs. And if you go on the community page there, or for someone like George, I will take the photographs off and I will show you, but they go from nasty little green signs to very lovely spanking new. I don't know how much they charge, but some other lovely parishioners have also been out looking at signs and have stated that the green ivy doesn't come off the signs very well. So I would like to see if we can get a price in the first instance, and if it costs stupid money, and maybe they're better off than we are over at Walsall, then maybe I will knock it on the head. But I was just putting it out there to make our parish just, just look a bit tidier, bearing in mind that it has gone through a little bit of a battering while we've been having the building work, etc. I think it would just...
It may help too then that people will know where they are.
It might well do. They might realise that they're, not in Buckland Brewer, they're in Buckland Brewer.
But some people can just do it when they're out for a walk and things like that and clean. And
Yeah, that's not going to happen though, Kath, is it? People don't really go out with a bucket and some Jif when they're out for a walk with their dog, do they? Can you just slap her?
that's just me.
Yeah.
Can I just suggest, if they come back quite expensive, could we ask one of the local window cleaning companies instead?
Yeah, anything like that, I think that's a really good
There is
shout.
a local chap that does it in the village.
Or I'll send you out with a bucket.
Yes, I don't mind doing it.
Also, while we're on the subject, we've also had some other parishioners who have come forward, and they are looking after the out of their own free time, looking after the signage or the plants by the coming into the village from Tower Hill and also on Barton Road. And I think it's really admirable of parishioners to do things like that to make it all look nice. So I thank you very much. In fact, they're here looking right at me at the moment, and I'm sure they didn't want me to say that. But thank you very much for doing that.
I'll second that. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We're working hard.
Yeah. So, yeah, we need people like you guys, but obviously we don't expect you to go around and do all the signage in the village. Go on, Trev.
Yeah, I would just like to point out that a parish councillor was fined in South Devon just recently for washing the signs.
Oh.
Yes.
Who fined him?
Devon County Council or the...
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think we need to get permission, because if we
Well, the
got
Buckland Brewer signs aren't owned by Devon County Council, are they?
it would be, the man would
They're
be
not.
trained,
Right.
the man would be trained, he'd have to go to a Devon County Council course because of parking his van or vehicle and getting out and washing the signs, but once he'd be insured then.
Right. Joe, is it possible to get hold of Walsall Parish Council and ask them how they got round this without anybody being fined, and also how much they were charged?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
mean,
all right?
if it's through a company, then they will have their own insurance and they'll
Yeah.
have their own training requirements as well.
This is a
so-
professional company, and I'll
Yeah.
give you the name of it afterwards. But just don't shoot the messenger. This is somebody who sort of, felt that our signs were looking particularly grubby. How are they over at Eckworthy? Looking nice? You haven't looked. You'll go back and have a look now, aren't you? Pardon? That's okay then. I'll send Kath out to have a look. Okay, so we'll just defer that until we've got a price and find out what Walsall did with regard to that. All right? Decision regarding the number of BBPC representatives to attend the DOUT conference and to appoint someone to vote at the AGM. Dave?
Well, I've been going for the last several years, so I'm past difficult again. But it is well worth going, actually. Exeter Racecourse.
They do a good buffet, don't they?
Well, naturally, yes, where else? But no, it is. It is quite useful because you see, you get to meet people at Torrance District Council and all the other.
What date is it, Joe?
3rd of October.
I think it's an important by-election that day, isn't there?
But I'll go on anyway.
As long as you're back in time to vote, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, so are you putting yourself forward then?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. There you go. You got a nomination, Dave.
And it's okay, because I think you've got to kind of say that I will do the official voting today.
Okay. Well, I feel like we're in safe hands. Everybody happy that Dave goes? Yeah, I didn't think there'd be many people battling for that one. Okay. I might go next year. You never know. If I'm allowed out for the day. Members' reports, starting with you, Trev. Trevor?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
just thinking a minute.
Do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay, David.
Oh.
Members' reports.
All right. No, everything's
Nothing to add. Oh, well, be quick, Trev, because we're coming down the line very quickly. Oh, hang on, Catherine might have something, so you're all right. You've been saved.
I've had a few, some parishioners have spoken to me. This is in regards to the traffic. They said that they're a bit concerned about the traffic coming through the village. It's like it's speeding up again. It's getting really fast, and they're worried about the children and people that take little ones to school in the mornings and walking dogs and things like that. So they're a bit worried about that. I'm not sure what we can do about that, but so they just said it's getting really fast again. And the second thing was...
Gosh, not walking dogs.
No. It was about a parishioner stopped me and said that she thought that the village was looking really tatty. And I think it's because
That's
of
why I brought this up.
No, this is... She said about... Because of all the building work that's going on...
I think you've been speaking to the same person
most
as me.
probably. And then it's just like, you know, the village, around the village hall, there's so much, like, what do you call it, weeds and everything, and around the pavements at Hill Park, and going up the main drag around all the pavements, is just grass everywhere, growing, you know, where it shouldn't be. But, so I don't know what we can do to clean that up, I'm not sure.
What, is this in front of their houses, or is it...
Some
what,
of it
just,
is in front of the houses, it
so
just looks really tatty,
well, can
and
they
all
not
the
go out?
pavements.
Well, I mean, personally, the other better half of me goes out and actually de-weeds our pavement.
Yeah,
so,
but not everybody. You've got some of them down that it looks awful. Hill Park, I went for a walk down Hill Park. I was quite surprised by the village hall, but the weather, I guess, has made everything grow so much, hasn't it? But that's been quite bad. And then I've had a parishioner contact me about the upcoming election, and they wanted to know whether or not we're going to be doing postal votes. Will they be doing postal votes, Joe?
yes.
They will, won't they?
They have to get hold of TDC Elections Office at Torres District Council. They ring them up and
You have to ring them up.
If you're already registered to have a postal vote, you should already be registered. Am I not right?
Yeah,
That's right.
but if they haven't, then they need to ring the Elections Office.
If not, they've got to ring up.
The Elections
I'll
Office.
make a note of that now. That's it. Thank you.
Nothing from me.
I had mine quickly put on the agenda, so I haven't got anything.
No, mine was on the agenda as well.
George, I'm sure you've got something.
How did you guess?
I don't know.
I circulated the email from Brown and Co, who are we have been registered for free advice on the government website, on the government for free advice on what we can do up on Thorn Ledmore to earn extra income from the Parish Council. So that's all in hand. They haven't actually heard. They've accepted the SBI number, because if the SBI number, which is the critical one, is not accepted, they'll come right back to say it's not accepted, but so they haven't come back to us, but they haven't actually had a written letter in confirming it, but they said there's no need because they've accepted the SBI number. So they'll be making an appointment and to come and see all the parish council, meet all the parish councillors to discuss everything. We can do that at the parish council's convenience when it suits us, and then basically we all go out, just we can accompany the man who goes out and looks at Thornley Moors. We can walk through all the bogs and everything else out there, whatever you want, and decide and listen to his free advice, which will give us an actual benefit for the what we decide to claim for and all the rest of it. Okay, so that's all in hand, and I can let you have the bits of paper if you want to see it, whatever.
Is that what you sent on email?
That's exactly what I sent
I
on
like
email.
to be paperless.
You like to be paperless, but right. So, yeah. That's the one point. Yes, there is just one other thing on there. On 14th of August, on the minutes of 14th of August, number 264A, the statement of Mrs. Hayward, reading through that.
Oh, that's been changed. That's all been changed.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say,
Oh, okay.
whatever. Just say, thank you for doing all that you've done, Hen, and saying you've organised everything. But what I would like to say is we do appreciate everything that you do for the playing field. But I also like to thank other people that were not mentioned who helped raise money for both events. Whatever it was, yeah, and especially for Jonathan Cole for welding up and repairing the beacon, for Richard Hooper who bought and painted the beacon 3 times, and Richard and Phil Ainsworth who went and dug the pit, put the concrete in, and laid it all in, put it up. And Paul Davis, Lee Harvey, and others who collected and delivered all the wood for the beacon on the night. It's much appreciated. And then the money raised for it, playing field again for the quiz. Sharon Evans for making the first arrangements, and Ollie and Nikki for putting so much effort into getting the pub ready and supplying free food.
Sorry.
Sorry, you.
Yes, sorry, George. That's about the playing field, and this is the parish council, and I just feel it's just becoming a
well, I shall make a statement. I'm nearly finished. I want to thank the people, and I shall make a statement.
Yeah, just let me finish one second, George. This is about the Playing Field Association, okay? And I just don't think this is...
It's been mentioned on the minutes.
It was by your wife,
yes.
But I don't feel that this is a time to start giving appreciation to people who have raised money for the...
Well, the Buckland, as I understand it, I am officially informed, Buckland Brewer Parish Council are trying to take overview the playing field up there. Umbrella, that's the word. So anyway, it's just finally saying thank you all the people in the village who offered the raffle prizes and helped in any way doing it. There must be many others we haven't mentioned, but they all helped to make both evenings so pleasant. Thank you.
So, okay, I just wanted to point out that that was to do with the playing field, George, and that's not anything to do with the parish council. And hang on a minute, let me finish. I think we have to be careful here. We're naming names, and there are plenty of people in this parish that do a hell of a lot that don't get named within this parish council. And I think we're naming people. You know, I could sit here and say about certain people, I can say off the top of my head, that do a hell of a lot for this parish, that does not get named in this parish council, and we're suddenly now reeling off names of Sharon Evans, who went down to ask for some change from Ollie for the quiz, is hardly thankful task. No, I'm not laughing. I'm saying that I don't feel that we should have a roll of honour for people who have done things, when there are plenty of people in this parish that do a lot, and they are unsung heroes, to be quite frank.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with you at all.
Well, I'm afraid that's my view on it, George.
It's my view as well. Thank you.
Trevor?
Right. Yes. Well, yeah. Talking about this weed problem in the village, it is the owners of the property that adjoin the road.
I agree. I agree.
It's their responsibility.
So who's in charge of the pavement then?
Well, you are responsible for your first foot away from your property. Am I right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So is that, I'm just trying to clarify.
Right.
in my
From
head.
the first foot from your property, you should do. But I have to say, in our house, it is done outside, right up to the roadway. And I just think it doesn't take 2 minutes for, sorry.
No, I quite agree.
It doesn't take very long to do that. And if everybody did that, it's all
Yes.
just doing their little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I quite agree.
And somebody pointed out to me that the cobbles in the street are third, recorded in a book, but I haven't got the details, in third position for the whole country, this cobbled paths.
Say that again, sorry.
The cobbled paths in the village,
Yeah,
from the vicarage,
Yeah.
they come along Ashton's Row,
yeah.
up the alley here,
Mm-hmm.
across the green, and up to the church, and they go down and round towards your property.
Mm.
And that footpath is third on the list. So I thought it's interesting, and I would just
Which
report
list?
that.
Which list?
Well, it come up, I think, by the parish church having to do it's green in the paths or whatever, but it was just reported that we are the third in the country.
Ah, right.
So
Okay.
we should look after them.
We should be looking after it. Absolutely agree with you. Thank you, Trevor. Is that it?
Yep.
Don't have the district councillor here. New planning applications 0737 of 2024, the stable at Vealstone Farm, Buckland Brewer. Has everybody had a look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody? Show of hands in favour? Joe? Unanimous. Tithicot, Buckland Brewer, conversion of an existing barn to a dwelling, and that is 0742. Tithicot. Has anyone looked at it?
I think it's
Yes.
it's Rose in the Grove, I think, isn't it? Is it Rose?
Yeah, up there on the left.
On the right,
Yes,
you
yeah.
go in on the right, isn't it? I think.
I thought it was left.
On the left, it should go in.
Left on the left. You go in,
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody got any? No? Show of hands in favour?
I'm declaring an interest.
Oh, at Gorwood, yeah. AA Storage, The Works, Gorwood Road, Buckland Brewer, residential development,
Was that what,
2231. It's the
Was
Gorwood,
that
Gorwood, the,
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
West
the town
End.
tenement
yeah,
farmyard.
yeah, that's right, yeah. Has anyone read this one?
I've had a look. So where does it start? Does it start where all the sheds are?
Yeah,
And then it goes, and that grass bit as well?
behind the cottage.
Yes, I was just trying to work out where it started. I took lots of screenshots of all the houses and everything,
Right,
and all that, but yeah, I
The-
just want to know where it started.
They've also got an entrance that comes out opposite the pub.
how very convenient.
Would you have to be
Yeah,
pedestrian?
Pedestrian.
yeah. I don't think there's much, it's only a slight,
The plan has been there for a long time, hasn't it?
I think this is a tweak, isn't it?
20-odd years.
Yeah, but this is a variation of the condition 10 of the planning approval. Has everyone read the variation of condition 10?
Yeah, but baffled me.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Well, I'm all looking at you lot, hoping. Joe, you read it, didn't you? And there's not much variation, is there? It's only a on Gorwood. Sorry.
Various requests. There's quite a lot of to-in and fro-in the last few months, none of which came to the council. It was all internal to planning, but there are quite a lot of legal letters and things actually in the folders. They're certainly wanting to change the layout of the houses and amend the types of houses. So, for instance, there's a couple of bungalows instead of houses, and I think the number of bedrooms to houses are in there as well.
Has it gone from 4 to 3 or something?
I can't remember the numbers offhand.
Yeah, there's something like 2 bungalows are going in, and there's the terraces are being split into
That's right.
2 bits.
But they still have.
Yeah, it's still going to be 28.
25.
Still the same amount, is it?
25.
Yeah.
25, right.
Yeah, I mean, it was bound to kind of, because of the length of time, it was bound to kind of be.
Are you all happy to vote on it? Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I know you are. Yep. Okay. Can we have a show of hands? Unanimous, bar, obviously. Accounts.
Sorry, it's probably a bit small. Yeah, just trying to see if I can amend it a minute. All right, is that better? Okay. Right then, so we have got, in the general fund, we have £37,021.49 in the general fund, little bit more in the bank balance because we've got some cheques issued but not presented yet. So closing bank balance on that account is £38,953.90. And of the savings account, £1,790 belongs to that general fund. Restricted funds for Thornhill Head, we have closing bank balance of nearly £15,000, 14,966.26. The cash book balance is 13,798.79, again because of cheques issued not presented. And of the savings account, £26,000 is Thornhill Head savings. So overall, the council has got, overall for the general fund, the closing fund balances that it's got in the general account is £38,811.89. There are some larger expenses that will be coming through because, for instance, we've got the website in progress and there will be a bill for that before too long. So payments since the last meeting, just over £1,500. Payroll, we've had a bill for gardening, we've had our usual British Gas direct debit, which is the air ambulance electricity feed. We've had room hire for this building, and also we've just renewed our licence for the Information Commissioner's Office. That's data protection. Thornhill Headmore, we had some fencing repairs that needed to be carried out. Those have been debited to Thornhill Headmore account, £364.48. And receipts in, we've had £184, an allotment rent and way leaves have just arrived as well, so £157 for way leaves. And that's it since the last meeting.
Why was that allotment rent so late in?
I'm not sure, but it's trickled in.
Trickled, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Can I just ask, Mr. Chair, just a matter of interest, how many months does the Methodist Chapel room hire cover?
a set period. It's sort of an as and when invoice. But I think this has been from the start. April till August.
That's when our financial year ends. Oh,
5 months. 5 months.
We've had
Thank you.
we've had second ones as well, haven't we?
I'm really just interested, thank you.
That's right.
Very good of them. You get a nice place here, David.
What did you say? What did you
It's a very good one. We got a nice place here, David.
I just think you should put the heating on. That's all I need. Is anybody else cold? Because I am. Yeah. Receipts and payments since last meeting. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I've done that, haven't I? Phew. Authorisation of outstanding payments. Yep. Yep. I propose. 1 second. Yep. Down the end. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Trevor, are we voting?
That was to give me 5
What was, sorry.
You're going to ask me what we're voting for now, aren't you? You are actually going to ask me what we're voting for, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, I thought you might. We're authorising for the outstanding payments. Yes, it's all been proposed in second. You haven't even got to worry about that. There you go. Thank you, everybody. It's now 9:32. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for everybody for joining in. 8:32. 8:32. Sorry. I'm closing the meeting.